Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Dani Dishes. I feel like at some point I need like a theme song or like some sort of image at the beginning. Maybe I'll work on that at some point. But I feel like that would be super fun. Now I feel like all day long I'm going to be trying to think of a theme song. If anyone is creative enough to think of one, feel free to send it along. But it is another Tuesday, shockingly enough, clearly, if I'm standing here in front of you all. And it has now been a week since the marathon. And in case anyone didn't know, I ran a marathon last week because we don't talk about it enough. Clearly, I'm sure you had no idea following all of the social media stuff that I ran something last week. But now the legs are feeling better. Everything's kind of going back to normal, which is awesome and really, thankfully, very timely since we have Ragnar in like 10 days. And then I'm running Rock and Roll San Diego full with my girl Sarah from Mom Running on Empty. So I'm super excited to see everyone for that too. But now what I'm thinking about, so this past week at Weight Watchers, one part of the topic was thinking about why we either joined Weight Watchers or why we started kind of the healthy living journey. And it got me thinking that I don't necessarily know if everyone knows why I got started. I talk about it sometimes, but if you haven't been following the blog for a while, that may have kind of slipped through the cracks of why I started this. So for those that don't know, when I was at my heaviest, or at least when I stopped weighing myself on the scale because I didn't want to see the number anymore, I was 235 pounds, and that was probably in 2004, 2005 after graduating from college. And I wanted to really get healthy, and I really wanted to lose weight, but I didn't know how to do it in the right way. So I unfortunately battled before then and after a few eating disorders, which is not the way to go through losing weight, but I dropped down to probably about 185, 180, which was the lowest for me, again, since like junior high. So, you know, I then, thankfully, with the help of friends, was able to kind of work through the recovery of that. Still working through it. It's not something that ever really goes away in my mind. And then proceeded to gain back almost all of the weight. So on November 2nd, 2009, I went to my first Weight Watchers meeting and weighed in at 217.4. And so it was that time that I was ready to attempt to lose weight in a healthy manner. So what brought me through the door that day was not only seeing a picture of myself and just being like, this has to stop, and being unhappy with what I was seeing, but I really wanted to start really living in my life. I don't know if anyone can relate to being like the photographer for everyone, and instead of being in the photo, always offering to take the photo. I also was always the one that strategically put a pillow in certain spaces so that I would take the picture, or I would stand behind everyone else. Thank you, height. And kind of try to hide myself out of the photo as much as possible. And I was realizing that I wasn't really taking part in my own life. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to have new adventures and try new things and be more active. And I felt like I was hiding behind my weight, and that was holding me back. I know many people that are able to be as active as they are at that weight, but for me at that time, it wasn't happening. I also wanted to just like the person that I saw in the mirror. And I hadn't felt that in so long. And so I was like, if I just start this journey, I feel like maybe the mental side of it will happen as well. And that is the one thing I liked about Weight Watchers, is that it's not just a weight loss program. It's also working on the emotional, the mental side of weight loss and our attachment to food, or at least my attachment to food in the whole emotional eating realm, if you will. So my original why was to not only lose weight, to get healthy, to stop being in the morbidly obese section of the BMI that I was, you know, in the early 2000s. But I wanted it to just be able to like myself for once. And those are things that started to happen over time. It's not like I walked in the door and magically everything was awesome. But it was things that I actually finally decided to work on while I was going through the journey. Now we're, oh my gosh, almost 6 years later, and the why is still there. You know, I'm still connected to why I started, but now my why is evolving. which I think is a great thing. And that's why I still stay focused and motivated to now keep the weight off. And now my why is I want to be a better athlete. And can I call myself an athlete? That kind of felt weird. But I want to perform better physically in running and the triathlons. And in 2011, I had back surgery on my back. I had like half of my disc removed in the L4, L5 region. So I need to keep the weight off to really make it easier on my back. I know that, you know, when I gained weight back at the beginning of 2014, I could feel it. It hurt. And that is not a good thing. I don't want to be in pain. So I know that keeping the weight off and working on my core is going to help my back and just overall my health. So there are so many reasons now that I want to work to keep the weight off. And it's still a fight. And I've said this to my members before. It's a fight to lose weight. It's a fight to maintain weight loss. It's a fight to stay in the game mentally, but we're worth the fight. We're worth the journey. We're worth our why. And that's what's going to keep us going. So I would love to hear, what's your why? Why did you start running? Why did you start your weight loss journey? Why did you start your healthy living plan? Whatever it may have been, why? What motivated you? What drives you to start? What made you decide that you were worth it? Share below, share in the post, share with me because I want to know why. I love hearing it because for so many, I don't know why you started. So please share with me your why because I want to celebrate you all and I want to give you all virtual high fives for taking the first step, which is definitely the hardest. So have an amazing week and I'll see you guys later.